Last week on Stamp TV, I showed you how to make a memory keeper box to store photos, journaling cards, and more. I also showed you how you can turn a memory keeper into a gift box to store handmade greeting cards that you'd like to give as a gift. Today, I'm going to show you a quick and easy card sketch using the stamps from the Organize It Stamp TV kit so that you can begin creating beautiful sets of cards to put away for when you need a nice gift. Let me show you the tools and products you're going to need for this technique. Okay, first of all, you're going to need some of the stamps from the Stamp TV Organize It and Picture It kit, stamp sets from the Organize It kit. You're going to need a Stamp-A-Majig, some black ink, or any color ink that you prefer to use once you've seen the sketch. I'm using a Copic marker. You can use any type of marker, but I'm using a Copic marker in the color R39 called Garnet, and that matches the Pure Luxury Cranberry Tart cardstock, which is what I'm going to use. I've got some ivory cardstock and a couple pieces of our Craft and Cranberry Tart, and then a piece of the 3/8 of an inch ribbon from the Organize It kit. I also have a set of Cutter Bee scissors because I need a nice sharp scissors for cutting the ribbon. I have some score tape, which you all know is one of my favorite sticky tapes. And I also have some Glue Glider Pro to assemble my card. Okay, so to begin, we're going to use the box stamp from the Organize It stamp set in the Stamp TV kit, and I'm going to ink up that box stamp. Now you can use this particular stamp and cut it with one of the rectangle nestabilities, or because it's a rectangle, you can just cut it right with a paper cutter. It's very easy to cut. And I'm going to stamp a rectangle onto my ivory cardstock, like that. Now next, I'm going to create using the Stamp-A-Majig stamp positioning tool, I'm going to stamp out my corner sprig of flowers because I want to be able to line that up perfectly inside the box. So as you can see, I have my Stamp-A-Majig imaging sheet, and I'm just putting it right into the corner of the Stamp-A-Majig tool, and then I'm lining up my block in the corner and just stamping straight down. And that gives me my image. And now I'm going to place that exactly where I want it onto my piece of cardstock. And I kind of like when a few of the little sprigs go outside of the box onto the frame. So I'm going to do it right there. And I'm going to replace my tool and remove the imaging sheet. Then, keeping my finger on the tool, I'm going to re-ink up my stamp and stamp my image. And now I've got my image exactly where I want it in the corner of that box. Now, one of the things I love about this particular box and these corner images is that they can be used either with the box horizontal or turning it and having the box be more vertical. It'll still fit perfectly in that corner, so you can use it for different layouts. And I'll show you that in just a couple minutes. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to set up my greeting, and the one I chose to use today is You're in My Prayers, because I really want to line that up inside that box as well. So I'm setting up my Stamp-A-Majig stamp positioner here, ready to go, and I'm lining up my greeting, as you can see. Replace it, and I'm going to stamp my greeting right inside that box. What I really like about this box and these flowers and the little greetings is the whole focal image of the card, including the greeting, is all placed right inside that box. Makes it very nice for doing either the regular A2 size cards or for little 4x4 square cards. It's just a perfect size. Now my next step is I'm going to color the perimeter of this box inside between the two lines using my Copic marker. And if you've ever used a Copic marker before, you know that one side is a brush tip and the other side is a chisel tip. Well, the brush tip comes to a very, very fine point. So as long as I hold that Copic marker upright when I'm coloring, I'm using just a little tiny bit of the marker, and it's easy to get fine detail, like coloring inside this little rim. Okay, so at this point, you can do one of two things. You can either cut this out using a Nestabilities rectangle die, or you can use a paper cutter and just cut around it. You could even use decorative scissors. What I've chosen to do is I've actually cut around this just using my paper cutter. I haven't done anything fancy with it. This way, this is something that everybody can create, even if you don't have Nestabilities dies. Okay. Now, what I've done here is I've taken some patterned paper from the Basic Gray Indian Summer Collection because that matches or coordinates with the paper that I used for my memory box here, my memory keeper. I used other pattern papers from that same Basic Gray collection. Although it's not the same pattern, it's a coordinating pattern, so it looks very pretty together. And then I've layered it onto some cranberry tart and to some Gina K Designs Pure Luxury Craft cardstock to give it just a little bit of an edge. Now I've taken a couple pieces of cardstock and cut them down, and if you're watching this on Stamp TV, right under the screen is all of the measurements for all of the different pieces of the card that you're seeing today. If you're watching this on Vimeo or YouTube, go to stamptv.com and look under the screen and you will be able to see all the measurements. Just look for the video called Organize It Card Sketch. Okay, so now I'm going to attach my ivory piece onto my cranberry tart piece using just a little bit of glue glider. I'm going to line that up. And you can see I'm just putting it onto the one side. And then I'm going to do the same thing onto my craft piece. And now to play off of the double-stitched ribbon that I used to secure the memory keeper, I'm going to use some double-stitched ribbon, but I'm going to use the one that matches our craft cardstock with the brown stripe. And I'm going to attach that on the back using a little piece of the 1/4-inch score tape. So I'm going to apply that right across there and remove the excess. And then I'm going to just lay some down onto the one side and then flip it over and line it up exactly where I want it. Now, if that doesn't look right, you can move it over. So that's what I'm going to do. And then make sure that it's straight and then just tuck it underneath. There. Nice and straight. And then this is going to be applied right to the center of my card. And I'll do that with a little bit of glue glider. And I've made a quick and easy card that matches my memory keeper card holder. Now let me show you some of the other cards that I have inside this box, and I'll show you how nice they all fit inside. What I've done here is I've used more of the patterned papers from the Basic Gray Indian Summer Collection. And remember earlier when I told you that you can just turn that rectangle and do the same kind of thing? I've done it right here with this card. I have the You're in My Prayers card here, and I have the Birthday Wishes card going in the opposite direction. I've used a different corner flower design from our Stamp TV kit and made a Get Well card, and that one I also colored the flowers using the same exact Copic marker so it all coordinates. For this one, I played off of that same corner flower, but I made a thank you card and I turned it sideways like my original card that you saw. And then here is the same card that I demonstrated to you just a little bit earlier. Make these cards using coordinated pattern papers to match the memory keeper box, or use neutral cardstock for a clean and simple look.